We're now going to take a look at the Principles of Design worksheet. So I would like you to make sure you get your name, date, and period on the top of the page. If you're gluing it into your sketchbook, please put the glue in the four corners and press it into the correct page. You do not have to do the whole back of the paper. What I want to focus on is just the vocabulary and the definitions. So just line that up. All right, with the principles of design, these are the rules for making a good design. If you follow these rules, your composition will be successful. The problem with the principles of design is sometimes people use a variety of terms. Repetition and pattern kind of go together. Contrast and variety. Emphasis and focal point. Unity or harmony. Proportion and scale. Rhythm and movement, and balance. So again, you want to look at the definitions here. I would have you focus on the bold-faced words. Those will help you the most in trying to figure it out. So again, exercise your brain. Try to see which ones of these words you can match up. You've heard of all these words before. We're just using them in art. So go ahead and pause the video and then check your answers. Okay, the answers are right here. Number 1, balance is equal visual weight. Number 2, contrast and variety is differences in the artwork. This is what makes your artwork look interesting. Dark versus light areas, rough areas versus smooth areas. Emphasis is the focal point of an artwork where your eyes focus. Not all artworks have a point of emphasis, just some do. If you want something more important or to stand out, you want to utilize this. Rhythm and movement creates a sense of movement in the artwork. The artwork can actually move like kinetic art, where things spin, water fountains, light shows, mobiles. Those are all examples of rhythm and movement in kinetic art. Other artworks stay perfectly still, but they make your eye move around the artwork. And that's a trick, and it's a fun trick to incorporate into your artwork. Unity and harmony is a sense of oneness. And you know these terms from music. Harmony is when the notes go together and sound good together. Well, in unity and harmony in art, we want the elements, the lines, shapes, and colors should look good together and go good together. Repetition and pattern is where you repeat something. Having an organized set of repetition creates a pattern. So if it's organized, it's a pattern. If it's random stuff that's repeated, it's just repetition. And proportion and scale. Proportion is the size relationship of one part of something to another. Like if you ever see someone with really long legs, or a giraffe has a really long neck proportional to a person's. Scale is the size relationship of one thing to the environment. For instance, when you stand next to a house, you are small. When you stand next to a dollhouse, you are very large. So the scale has changed. Coming over to this part, we are going to once again fill in the vocabulary. There's 7 words and there's going to be 7 pictures to match. So you're matching the vocabulary with the pictures. So I have this set of pictures. Try to get my camera right. And I also have, let's see, here, the colored version. So you should pause the video right here and see if you can match them up. Again, exercising your brain, using your thinking powers. And the answers we'll go over right here. Balance was G. Contrast was C, dark versus light, wiggly versus straight. Emphasis was F, where the circle stood out or that star stood out. What's next? Rhythm and movement is D, where you have an undulating line here that brings your eye through the artwork. Unity and harmony, anything that goes together. Most of these have unity and harmony in them. This one is the one that's left over to be unity and harmony. And repetition and pattern. In both of these cases up here in A, you can see they create a pattern. They are organized. And proportion and scale, we have the little girl to the large girl showing a scale, and proportion like the small eye to the big eye. The mouth is too big. All right, so your answers on here were G, C, F, D, E, A, and B. All right, so we're going to go ahead and draw the pictures. You can draw your own, or you can take ideas from my worksheets. For the top one, the principles of design, these are the rules for achieving good visual compositions or designs. You are to draw a sample picture. One of the things you'll get if you have a good composition is a good grade. Sometimes we have art shows where you can win money or awards, so those are the things I put at the top. And then we have balance. I have contrast with lighter versus dark, rough versus smooth, zigzag versus curl. Emphasis, we have this star standing out. Notice it is contrasting. It looks different. That's why it stands out. Rhythm and movement, we're bringing your eye, scrolling across the page there. Unity and harmony. Notice I've repeated these circles. They're inside the flowers and they're randomly outside. We're repeating the green leaves throughout. So usually there's some repetition involved in creating unity and harmony. This also has repetition, creating unity and harmony, but this one has the focal point. Down here we have repetition and pattern, and you can see the difference between the two. Repetition is both of these. They both repeat circles and triangles. Pattern is an organized repetition. And proportion and scale, I drew a couple figures like a person standing next to a house where the scale is he's larger, scale being small person versus tall person. Proportion, like the eyes being different sizes, the mouth being extra small. So you can draw what you want there. You can pause the video to do those drawings. The last part we're going to look at is balance. There are 4 types of balance in an artwork. Remember, this is the arrangement of equal visual weight. In a sculpture, it may be actual weight, so the sculpture doesn't tip over. The types of balance are symmetrical, where it is exactly the same on both sides. So it'd be like if I put my hands like this, they are symmetrical. Asymmetrical is where they're different on both sides, like if I put my 2 hands like that. Radial, where it radiates from the center. It can be like the center of a flower or a sun and then rays coming out. It can be a spiral that goes into the center, or it can be a target where you have a big circle, smaller circle, dot in the middle. And a target could be a star-shaped target or a heart-shaped target. Crystallographic is like when you're looking through a crystal and you see a whole bunch of the same design repeated over and over again, kind of like a kaleidoscope. Wallpaper, sheets, those types of things have crystallographic designs on them. And here's the final version. So down at the bottom here, you can see here's my symmetrical. There's my asymmetrical. Here's my 3 types of radial, radiating from the center like a flower or a sun or a bicycle wheel, a spiral like a nautical shell, and the target type where it's concentric circles leading in. And crystallographic is an overall pattern. So you can add those to your designs and then your worksheet is complete. Oh, try to get the whole thing. All right, you can pause the video and finish your drawings if you wish.